how to use your VA loan to invest and make cash flow. As someone who has purchased a property every single year for the last 6 years, and I was prior military, I was a special agent, and I separated after a decade as a major, and now I'm a full-time real estate agent. I've used my VA loan numerous times. I'm here to tell you exactly how to use your VA loans. That way it benefits you, you can invest, you can cash flow, and we're doing everything legally. First things first is a VA loan is meant to be owner occupied. So if you do not intend to live in the house yourself, that is literal mortgage fraud and you can go to jail. You do not want to do that. So make sure that when you're using the VA loan, you intend to live in the property. It is not worth getting a property as an investment using the VA loan, thinking no one's going to find out. As someone who literally ran investigations, they will find out. So you do not want to be in that position. You can use the VA loan to invest. That's a short answer. The long answer, well, you'll have to stick around for this video. With the VA loan, you can buy either a condo, a single family, or a multifamily. For example, a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex. You cannot buy a fiveplex or anything above. At that point, 5 and more units is called commercial, and you cannot use a VA loan to purchase a commercial property. I want to get into some pros and cons of buying a single family or condo versus a multifamily. Single family, it's easier to sell should you ever want to sell. I think it's easier to rent. With a condo, there are typically HOAs, but with the HOA fee, you can also get more out of it. So sometimes there's like a pool or a gym or something like that, extra amenities. So those are the pros. The pros of multifamily is you are typically able to make more cash flow at the exit, whether you have spent your year in that house and then you plan on renting it out after you move out, or even as soon as you move in, you have the other side. If you're purchasing a duplex or if you're purchasing a fourplex, you have 3 other units that you can rent out and start making money right away. That is a major pro. A con is you have to live there. So I am a real estate agent in Tucson, Arizona. You're probably on this channel right now. This is exactly what I help VA loan members and active duty military members, veterans, reservists, guard members. I help them use their VA loan and I help negotiate the most for them. One, because I used to be a negotiator for the Air Force and OSI, Special Investigations, and now I take those negotiation skills and I help negotiate the best deal for you. A lot of my past buyers, just in the last 3 months, we have been getting every single transaction below appraisal price.
I would say I was highly surprised because this is the first time we actually got money back from closing on a home, which was phenomenal.
The process was made easier by you guys helping me going through the whole process, answering all the questions I have.
So they are purchasing a property with instant $13,000, $15,000 worth of equity. And best part, a lot of times they're not even paying a lot out of pocket for the closing costs. I'm talking less than $1,000. One of my clients paid $3.21. Ah, feels good. Anyway, so some cons of purchasing a multifamily is in Tucson. Of course, I cannot steer, by the way, so please, it's on you. It's always buyer beware, you have to do your due diligence on your own. I cannot tell you which areas are safe, which areas are not, which area I think you might be better in, which area, you should probably stay away from. That is straight up illegal. You will never hear that coming out of my mouth, so please go on crime maps. There are so many websites. I've named so many on my other videos on this channel to help you do your due diligence, to help you purchase in the Tucson area, Vail area, Sahuarita, Arizona, Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, greater area, Marana included. But if you're on this, you're watching and you're not purchasing in that area, that's totally fine. The same thing applies. But if you want a real estate agent that is worth their while with a VA loan, I can connect you. Back to the cons. The cons specifically in Tucson, this is going to vary from location to location. The multifamily in Tucson, they're older properties. And by older, I mean 1960s. So it's not like northeastern older where that older is like 1800s, But I'm talking like it's older, it's typically more central, which gives you more of the street lights that you have to pass. Every single intersection is another red light, red light, red light. So the commute to and from base is going to be, in my opinion, a hassle. But on the flip side, my friends that have used the VA loan to move into a multifamily themselves, they rent out the other units to travel nurses because there are like 12 hospitals plus, in the Tucson area. It is very, very nurse friendly. So if you wanted to rent out the other units to nurses, that's a great way to do that. With all that being said, there are no new construction multifamily in Tucson at this time, unfortunately. I think there is such a demand for it, yet nobody's building. Maybe I should build it. Nah, I can't take on another project right now. Anyway, you just heard my whole train of thought. I've had too much coffee. So another con of purchasing a multifamily in Tucson is that they go fast. You can use this to your advantage. But for the majority, this is going to be a con because a lot of buyers, who I'm talking to, they don't yet know exactly what they want. Over the last 6 years that I've been investing in real estate in the Tucson area, any single time a multifamily hits the market, it flies. It used to not last more than 7 days, but right now we are now seeing multifamily hit the market and stay on the market for a median amount of days of 12. You have 12 days. So either way, that's not fast, but as long as you know exactly what you're looking for, you know what part of town, you know your commute, you know how many bathroom you want, you know the type of condition that you want, you know, as long as you have criteria, where it's not like, I have to go in and see if I feel good. It's like, no shit, I look at it on a website and I can tell if that's something that I may want to place an offer on or not. You need to be at that level with multifamily. With single family, there's a lot more you can choose from. You can go in and get the gut feeling. And, you know, if you know anything about me, like I'm an investor, it's black or white, like yes, no, or move on. So it's not, but with the single family, there's a lot more like, a lot more emotion that goes into it. So I've covered the pros and cons of a single family. I have covered majority of the cons. I would say a pro, if I haven't mentioned this already, a pro for multifamily is, of course, say you purchase a triplex, you have a vacancy in one of the units, at least the other units are paying. You know, you'd be living in one is rented out, the other one is vacant. You at least have that one other person paying you. And by the time you finish your time there, you move out after a year or something like that, you have all 3 units paying you. If there's one person that moves out or doesn't end up renewing the lease, there's just more economies of scale, as opposed to a single family where if that one family does not want to renew the lease, or you think that you could rent it at a certain amount, but you're not, and it's just sitting there vacant, that is 100% vacancy or 0% money coming in, as opposed to a multifamily. So either way, whether you're looking to purchase a single family or a multifamily in the Davis-Monthan Air Force Base area or anywhere else, this is what the next step is going to be. You need to know exactly what you are looking for. If you do not know how much you're pre-approved for, this is a good time to get in contact with a lender. And a pro tip is what they call it. A pro tip would be, before you even reach out to a lender, you may want to reach out to a real estate agent, because if you reach out to a lender, it's the whole dreaded thing of like,
oh my God, they're going to ask me to pull my credit. They're going to ask me for all these documents.
Which, yes. And if you're ahead of the game, you may not want to do that just yet. So instead, if you wanted to ask a real estate agent to be able to do that for you and get the inside scoop, like some general estimation of numbers, you can ask an agent to do that and say, hey, I don't want a hard credit pull right now. I'm just inquiring. I'm not even PCSing until XYZ. So if you want me to do that for you, I'm more than happy to do that. I talk to clients all of the time, PCSing every single year. This is literally what I do. So if you want, you can shoot me a text and send me a message being like, hey, I'm PCSing or I plan on purchasing in this city. What are some lenders that you may recommend? Unless you have a real estate agent. If you already have signed with a real estate agent to help you purchase, then disregard everything. You should only be asking them questions. There's a reason you signed a formal contract with them and them only. The way that my wife and I have been investing is through owner-occupied properties. So we purchase a property with an owner-occupied loan, for example, the VA loan. We move into it for about a year, maybe a year and like change, a couple months, and then we move out and we purchase another property to move into it. We keep the old house and we rent it out. So is it a hassle to move out every single year? Absolutely. But that's the reason I was able to leave the military after a decade. And yes, I was an officer, but I left as a net worth millionaire. And my wife and I would alternate, like 1 year you buy, 1 year I buy, 1 year you buy it. So we've done this. We do this every single year, and we know to pay for moving companies because we are not young. Oh man, we will break our back if we try to move any furniture. But overall, like jokes aside, it is 100% worth it to I think, get a lower interest rate because the VA loan is going to give you a significantly lower interest rate and fewer costs, especially if you have 10% or more of disability. You do not have to pay the funding fee. This is amazing. This will save you like at least $3,000. Really depends on the loan amount, but that is such a big help. And the VA loan is the most powerful loan. These are the reasons why. So how do you make sure you know exactly what to do to put yourself in the position of being ready to use your VA loan to invest? Number one, you need to make sure that you are comfortable with the real estate agent that you are working with. I highly suggest you choose one. Any agent worth their while. If they think that you are shopping around agents, which do that, but once you have shopped around, narrow it down to one. If you cannot decide on one, no agent worth their time is going to work with a client for free unless there is a signed contract, which, by the way, now that is illegal to do so. So when an agent says,
hey, great, before we can show you a house, we have to sign a form,
that is legit. It used to be legit before. That's what I would do. That's still what I do now. Obviously, now it's the law, but I would never waste my time working with a client, taking them out to houses, doing extra work for them if they're going to turn around and then say, actually, we're going to close with my brother-in-law. Like, I'm not a charity case. So once you know that you want to work with a real estate agent, you want to make sure that you are comfortable with the one you're working with. So that means signing the contract. If you have any questions, reach out to that agent. Step 2 is they're going to put you on a drip or an email campaign to let you know what's out there. Of course, it's 2025. So you have the internet most likely, and you also have access to Redfin, Realtor, Zillow, and all the public facing websites. Sometimes they are a little bit slow. So that's why the real estate agent will get you plugged into, hopefully they'll be using an IDX. So AKA their website is connected to the MLS. With Zillow and the other public facing websites, it takes a little bit longer. So some homes that you see are actually already under contract. So if the real estate agent has their own website, I suggest just using theirs. It may be clunky, it probably is, but it's timely, which is importante if you want to purchase a multifamily because you need to go fast. Once you know exactly what you are looking for, you give them the criteria, they put you on a drip. Step number 3 is going to be connected to a lender. This is where you may want a soft pull, or if you're ready to purchase, 3 months out, you're going to want to get that hard pull. You're going to have to submit your W-2s, your tax stubs. If you have a business, just submit all of your tax returns, everything, all of your assets, all of your liabilities, so that way the lender can determine your debt to income ratio. They're going to give you a pre-qual letter that shows you the maximum amount that you are able to get a loan for. Part of step 3 is not going for that maximum amount. Now, this is my own personal. You can do whatever you want, but I really, really care for my military members. I know that you work way too hard for your money, and the last thing I want you to do is get a loan that is maxed out, the tippy-toppy
What?
of what you're able to even qualify for, and get a loan for that amount. That's going to get you house poor. You do not want to do that. You want to feel comfortable going into a mortgage payment, knowing that it is sustainable. The last thing you want to do is get into a house and then think, oh my gosh, I don't even have extra funds left over to buy a couch. You need money for furniture. And especially if you are a first-time home buyer, the joke, in case you haven't heard it, is something is going to break. No matter how many inspections you get before you purchase your first property, something will break. It is beginner's luck. Welcome to home ownership. But I'm serious. So something will break. You want to make sure you have at least $5,000 put away for an emergency fund. So you want to make sure that you are honest with your lender and say, great, okay, I'm approved for up to, $500,000. Excellent. I want my mortgage payment to be about this much. Talk to your agent before you sound stupid and you're asking for something that just doesn't exist or only existed back in 2015. So you want to make sure that you're saying educated stuff. Otherwise, they may not treat you seriously. So once you have told your lender what you are wanting to have as a mortgage payment every month, they will help you. They're here to help you. So that's still on step 3, where pretty much you're getting the pre-qual. And as soon as you have the pre-qual letter, that is when the real estate agent from step 2 is going to take you seriously because they know you have put in effort and you're actually serious about purchasing. Step 4, make sure you are starting to analyze specifically what you like about some properties you see and what you don't. I highly suggest, and I say this every single time with every one of my buyers, before you even want anyone else to go view the property, go on maps.google.com, take a virtual walk around the neighborhood, look at the cars in the parking lots, look at the driveways, look at the upkeep of the houses. Is this an area that you will feel safe? I cannot answer what you're going to feel safe. Like, I can't do that. I'm from New York. But either way, I want you to feel safe. As long as you're comfortable, then I'm comfortable. And if you are in the local area, before you ask to go into the property, I highly suggest you take a look at the outside. You drive at night, Friday, Saturday night, 11 p.m., 1 in the morning, and get it out of your car and walk around the neighborhood. Do you feel comfortable? If so, then that might be a great neighborhood for you. But either way, make sure you start narrowing down your criteria even more. So that way, as soon as you get the email from your real estate agent, yep, this is the one, this is the area I was looking for. This is the exact bedroom and bathroom count in the condition that I want it underneath this price. I'm ready to place an offer. Let's go view it. If you are looking to purchase a multifamily, of course you want, or even a single family, you want to make sure that the property will be vacant so you can move into it. Very commonly, people believe that you're supposed to move into the property within 60 days of closing, which actually is false. According to the VA regulation, you have to move into it within 180 days after closing. But typically, a lot of lenders are going to say you have to move in within 60 days. You have to have a very, very good reason if you need to move in between days 61 and 180 days after closing. So for example, you're in Korea. That's what we did with one of my clients. They're like, hey, we don't want to waste our time when we're back in the States. We want to make sure that we purchase a property. So that way, when we take R&R and leave before we actually go to Davis Monthan, we know that we have a house to move into. So we worked it out with that new construction home builder to where they were able to move in after 60 days of closing. Another pro tip is you're going to want to tell your real estate agent to email you daily emails. This is assuming you are actually hot, like you are ready to purchase. You're ready to take the next step, meaning you are 5 months out from PCSing or you're 5 months out from wanting to purchase. You're going to want daily emails. Every real estate agent has a drop down of the frequency of which they can put you on emails. It's either like instant, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. So you want to make sure that you know that you're either getting emails daily or as they pop up. So if you're less than 4 months out from PCSing, you're gonna want that ASAP. So let your real estate agent know that, because a lot of times they don't even ask because, I don't know, they just don't ask their clients that because they don't want to bother them. They just choose for you. So make sure that you tell them, hey, put me on an ASAP email or put me on a daily drip. Now, let's talk about how long do you have to live in the property in order to then move out, rent it out, and turn this into an investment. Again, a lot of people kind of mistakenly say you have to live in the property for a year. That also is false. The year, they actually got that from the FHA loan. There, it says a year. With the VA, it actually does not say a year. It says you have to intend to stay in the property for a year. The key word is intent. And again, being that I investigated felony level crimes, especially when it came to procurement fraud, intent is everything. So you want to make sure you are not playing around here. And I'm not saying this as a way for you to maneuver and, manipulate the system. I'm saying if you get deployment orders within, 5 months, 6 months after closing, yes, you can move out and then you can rent out the property because you're deploying. If maybe you are getting a divorce, then at that point, maybe you need to downsize. Maybe you had a really, really bad knee injury and you need to go from a 2-story to a 1-story house because your knees can't take the stairs anymore. It has to be a valid reason. This goes hand in hand with moving out of a property, but staying in the same duty station when you want to purchase another property. So pretty much having 2 VA loans within the same duty station within the same couple of years. Pretty much the same thing happens there. If you have a valid reason, like the reasons I just mentioned, or maybe you had purchased originally a condo and now you're married and you have 2 kids on the way. At that point, it's very believable that you would want to go from a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom condo to a single family house or even a multifamily house. That makes sense. Or if you had your car broken into or your house was burglarized and you don't feel comfortable and you want to move across town, that is a justifiable reason. In those situations, you will be able to use your VA loan again within the same duty station without having to PCS. I know because I have done it. Make sure that you are talking to a real estate agent that knows their shit, a lender that knows their shit, because not all lenders do, not all real estate agents do. If you have any questions, I am more than happy to help you. If you are PCSing anywhere else, Scott Air Force Base, Alaska, the DC area, I have connections, Pensacola area, I have connections near every single Air Force duty station, some Army, but mainly Air Force stations. So reach out to me. You can just shoot me a text saying, hey, my name is this. I'm PCSing to this location around this time. Can you connect me to an agent? I'm more than happy to do that. And the bonus part of once you move out, how are you going to manage the property? Are you going to manage the property or are you going to look for a property manager to manage it for you? There is no right answer. There's no wrong answer. I am a big believer of outsourcing the stuff that I do not want to do. So I would Google property managers near you. I would look at other real estate investors in your area and ask them, who do you have to manage your rental properties? Or if you want to be the one that manages your own rental properties, and there are great systems out there like Rent Ready, Vail, avail.co, and other similar platforms where you can make sure that you run the tenants through your screening, that everything checks out okay, financials and background checks, all of that. And they can pay you through that portal and they can message you through that portal saying, hey, the sink stopped working, something like, maintenance orders. Otherwise, very, very common is between 8 to 12% of your income, of your rental income, will go to pay for a property manager. And I would much rather do that and have a very, very simple form at the end of the year that has the very, very basics of what exactly were your rents, what were your expenses, so you can give that to your CPA and file taxes. If this video helped, please drop a comment. That would help me a lot. See you in the next one.